Thanks everyone. Coffee and cookies for the Carvers are available, and more announcements will come later on this morning. Buy some raffle tickets. Enjoy the show.
Okay. All right. Well, I always start things off with good evening. That's because I'm always doing things at night, it seems like. But instead it's a good morning here from the old Westby High School Gymnasium. I'm Ken Manning, Western Wisconsin Video Productions, along with District Superintendent here, Mr. Steve Michaels. And Steve, thanks so much for inviting us back in. I've got my granddaughter Willow doing some things here, helping out. What a fantastic morning you have here behind us.
Yeah, it's terrific, and thank you for coming out. We really appreciate the support you've shown our programs and our school and for this event, the Karve In. This is our 8th annual event.
Wow, yes.
And you can see we've got, this space is suiting us really well. We've done it in the basement of the library.
I remember that.
And then we outgrew that, and then we went to Westby Elementary, and we outgrew that. And I think we finally settled into a place that gives people enough room to move around and set up their stuff. And
yeah. And you even have a little overflow if need be, because you have the foyer area. You could even go into the lobby here, out to our right side. So there is a little space there.
Yes, yeah, we got room to grow here.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. How in the world, did you ever imagine that you would be up over 60 vendors here showing off their wares?
No, I honestly, this is an interesting group of folks. The idea for this came from Mr. John Sutton, and he said, I'm a part of 3 different carving groups, and we're all within 35 miles of each other, and nobody knows what each other's doing, and we never get together. And so that was the idea, and that's where a lot of these regional carving events came from. And but the carvers are, as you look around, they're all talking to each other. They love picking each other's brains and getting ideas and techniques, and but it's a unique population. It's not, and so part of the idea here is to spread the word, anyone can do this.
Yeah.
But it started with the idea is bringing these folks together so they could have a sense of community and shared space once a year.
I was talking with one of the gentlemen here coming from Arcadia. We'll talk to him, Carl McKeith, one of my friends from way back as coaching rivals, we'll call it, with wrestling. So it was really neat to see him. But he's at the Chippewa Valley, whatever, Carvers Association. There's a lacrosse one.
Yep.
What else is there? I mean, they're coming across the state line here.
They are. So we have the Capital Area Carvers out of Madison. That's one group. There's the Western Wisconsin Woodcarvers Guild. There's the Central Wisconsin Woodcarvers Group.
Wow.
There's the Cooley Region Woodcarvers. But, one of the things that you notice is all those, there's a group in wherever you are.
Yeah.
There's a Spoon Carvers group out of Lafarge. So that wherever you're at, there's enough people that want to get together and do this. But it becomes a more significant event when all those different groups can gather, along with knife manufacturers and wood salesmen and those types of folks.
Yeah.
So,
I just have a feeling that the next 40 minutes or so is going to be a very interesting time here.
I think it's going to be, we always love talking to these people. This is one of my favorite interview things that I get to do, is go around and see these people are so passionate about what they do and eager to share.
Yeah.
So they just love the opportunity to share their story, and thank you for making that happen.
You bet. Well, thanks for being the wingman once again. This is like the 3rd year in a row.
I know. I kind of like it.
I can't go wrong on this one. So, well, stick around here. We're not taking any kind of breaks. We're just constantly going to be moving around. But my granddaughter is going to hit the button so that you don't get seasick watching this as we move from one vendor to the other. Steve, thanks so much for doing all of this, and thank you for helping me out here today.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure. Thank you.
All right, we're ready to get on our track shoes and start walking around. All right, I always have to do a little check here because I've got, as I mentioned before, I got my granddaughter running the camera back behind, or the mixer behind there. So this is Sunita Dix, and Sunita, thanks so much for taking the time out here to talk a little bit about all the great things you have here.
Well, thank you very much. This is a great venue and a really cool gathering of carvers.
Tell us what you have here, and Mr. Michaels is going to zoom in on anything that you'd like to demonstrate or show.
Okay, well, initially I started carving Santas that had a cat. Don't tip over my stuff. So like this guy has a cat in his backpack. This will have a cat in his arms. This one's holding a cat. And since then you see I've expanded and I'm doing some bark work and some butternut. But mostly I just started doing Santas with cats out of basswood, which is a very soft wood and easy to carve.
I'm going to come around the side here. I think this might be a little better for us, and then that way they can see everything and stuff, so I don't have to be in the main picture there. All right, so you talked a little bit about the different kinds of wood and that. Tell us a little bit about how you make a decision of what particular variety to use.
Of wood?
Yeah.
If it's something you know you're going to paint, I would say basswood because it doesn't have a whole lot of beauty to it on its own. Mm-hmm. Whereas the butternut, if you just stain the butternut or put a finish on it, it's beautiful just by itself.
Oh, sure. Okay.
And the bark is obviously bark. You don't normally paint it, but in this case you can see I put a little Christmas wreath up here.
Oh, yeah.
But just the bark itself is pretty. So
that's pretty neat. How many years have you been doing this?
20 years this year.
Wow.
In November.
Is that right?
My first carving, I took a class at Westerheim from Gerald Eckern. And I had my first carving out to bring and I left it at home. But basically it was this little guy, it's a little Santa, and he had his boot sticking out the front. So I did another one and I put the cat sticking out the front and the back.
That's a great way to do it.
Anyway, it was my first class and I was hooked.
Yes, I can imagine with something like that. So for 20 years, what is it that you feel that you learn each and every year?
That I'm never as good as I think I am. Sometimes. And it's like, that's good. And then you'll go into your old stuff and you'll look at something that you were so proud of 10 years ago. And you're like, oh, gee, I have grown. I've gotten better.
Yeah. What right now, as we take a look at all of this stuff right here on the table, what would you say is your most favorite piece of work?
Ooh.
And I know that's a tough one.
It is. I think it would be this bark church over here, which is again a totally different manner of carving bark. Most when you do bark, you do little whimsical stuff. The windows are crooked and the stairs are weird. And so it's kind of easy for someone who likes to do bark because it doesn't have to be perfect. It's like, well, this window doesn't match that window. Well, it's not supposed to be when you do the whimsical houses.
Sure.
The bark churches, the young man that teaches that, you actually use a drafting tool to make the shingles are all identical. He's very, very precise. And so it's a very technical class, whereas the other stuff, it's like just use your imagination.
Yeah. That is so interesting when it comes to, and the design itself just seems meticulous with the work.
Yes, yeah, and so that was a different process. Because he'd say, yep, it looked fine to me because this is a millimeter too short.
Oh.
I'm like, okay. So then you start over.
Yeah. In your time, the 20 years, every once in a while, if a person is teaching, coaching, working with something, every once in a while you get maybe a little frustrated with something or you get a head scratcher. What's a head scratcher for you?
Oh, that's a tough one. I tend to try to put so much detail into things and you end up digging yourself into a hole. Oh. It's like, so now it's like, you've dug this so deep, what are you going to do with it? If you don't carve, you won't understand that.
Sure.
But, and I can't really express that right now either. I want to show you something. Well, this was a mistake when I had to do such and such.
Yeah. Wow.
But a lot of it is just knowing when to quit.
But that's a good way. That's
Yeah.
actually that could be good advice for just about anything.
Yeah.
Knowing when enough is enough.
Yeah, and a little trick that I learned from, I've forgotten who, if you're carving on something and it just doesn't look right to you, set it down and then pick it up and look in the mirror at it.
Oh.
You'll see it's just because when you look at something that you've been working on for a couple hours, you're going to see the same thing.
Yep,
If you
yep.
turn it the other way and look at it in a mirror, it'll look a little different to you and you'll say, well, that's what's wrong.
That's interesting. That's really neat. So, wow. Well, you just have so many great things here. Thanks for being our featured carver this year.
Okay, and I don't know if now's the time to say it, but I'd like to thank John Sutton, who's
Yeah.
the one who's been putting this together for years,
Yeah.
and it's grown exponentially. And I know at one time he was frustrated because it wasn't growing as much as he would,
Yeah.
but it's done a wonderful
Yeah.
job, and this
Yeah.
venue is great. And thank you for taking and helping him.
Oh, you bet.
him. I'm
Yes.
sorry, he's helping.
Mr. Michaels is he's the one that really gets
Yeah.
things rolling, doesn't
Yes.
he?
Yep.
Yes.
So that's good.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just one of those pieces that gets to be moved around, which is a great thing.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
well, thank you
thank
so
you.
much, Sunita, helping us out here, the featured carver here today. Thanks so much. All right. Well, we continue on here with our displays. This is Blaine Hedberg. I hope I'm saying the last name correctly.
absolutely.
All right. And Blaine, you are the president of an association. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yep, I'm the president of the Westby Area Historical Society. Here in Westby, we're about 30 years old or so, and this is just a small collection from our museum.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit. I know that you've got some real old historical stuff here.
We do. I think the most precious thing is this spoon.
Wow.
Can you imagine carving that out of one piece of wood?
Yeah.
We think that this came to America in 1884 from an area in Norway called Trenton.
Wow.
And we traced it back to a farm called Halstenstad, and there's lots of the descendants here. But it was purchased at an auction here in Vernon County.
Really?
Yeah.
I just wonder how big the pot was if they're stirring. That's what
Yeah.
I'm wondering.
Probably one of those big copper pots.
Probably.
Yeah.
So, well, that is just so unique. What else do we have here?
Well, this is a really unusual piece. It's a Norwegian ale bowl. And
we have a camera right behind you.
often used at a wedding, so one would drink from this side and one would drink from that side.
Okay.
The inside is real rough, as you can see.
Oh yeah.
And
Wow.
the farmers made their own tools to carve this out, so it was more of a spoon that carved the piece out.
Uh-huh.
We think this is from about 1870.
My goodness. Wow. How in the world do you put, I got to ask this, it's a silly question, but how do you put a value on stuff like this, especially when these things are so old?
You can't really do that in the
Yeah.
museum field.
Yeah, right.
If you were to donate something, you would take a deduction on whatever value you think it is.
Oh,
But nonprofits can't assign a value.
Yeah, I wondered. Okay,
Yeah.
great to know.
Yeah.
All right, what else do we have here?
This is
That's right.
This is kind of an unusual collection. This spoon has one face on, and
yeah.
it was used as an engagement gift.
Oh, wow.
And then this is the wedding spoon with two faces on. But can you just look at the beautiful carving
Yeah.
here? It's just
I wonder-
incredible.
Can we turn that to the camera and see
Sure.
if we can get a close-up on that one?
Yeah.
That is very, very interesting there.
They're just both beautiful pieces.
Yeah. Wow. I can't even begin to imagine how you make the swirls and get those cuts in there.
Nope, without breaking.
Yeah.
Without
yeah.
breaking the
It's
wood.
so thin. So yes. You when I popped over and was talking to you about doing an interview, you were showing me something over here, Blaine. What in the world is this thing?
Well, this is probably the most unusual thing. It's a Norwegian calendar stick.
Oh wow.
And this one was carved by this man, a guy named Egil Sunda in Vik, Norway. And Egil presented me with this when I was in Norway giving a lecture one year.
Really?
But each of the sides of the calendar stick have half of the year on. So if you think about all of the Sundays, in addition to Sundays, there's 37 church holidays that aren't movable.
Okay.
plus the movable ones like Easter, for instance.
yeah.
So each of them have a mark on this, and you're able to tell from like snowflakes what side of the calendar it is. But yeah, it's a really neat one.
Yes.
I saw one more of these here at the show, so
they are.
when you're walking around, you'll probably see it. And it was carved by the same man.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, now we know what to look for. Well, just an excellent showing of all the different things that you have here. Really appreciate the time. You have to be awfully busy when it comes to being the president of the Historical Society. You take these all over?
No, but this is the first show we've done like
It is?
this. Yeah,
Okay.
I came last year as just a visitor,
Yeah.
and I thought, oh, what a super show.
Yeah.
We should show some of these items from our collection.
Yeah. Can you tell the folks where they can, when they come to Westby, where can they find these?
Sure. We're located on Beckedal Avenue next to the Stabur building in downtown Westby. And this summer we're going to be open on Sundays.
Oh, wow.
So come by Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
We have a brochure. We're a membership organization. So membership is very reasonable.
Yeah.
And then we're open the rest of the year by appointment. So
Okay.
people can just phone us and we can get them in.
Very good.
And then I should also mention this. The Historical Society is hosting for Sitten de Mai a man from Minneapolis who was on a Norwegian show like The Amazing Race.
Really?
So we're having him come down to Westby from Minneapolis, and he'll tell about the show out at the old Coon Prairie Country Church.
Okay.
So so be sure and come for that.
That'd be great to know. So, well, Blaine, thank you so much for all that you're doing here in Westby and keeping the Norwegian heritage alive. And,
Yep, happy to. Thank you
bet.
for coming by today.
All right, thanks so much. We appreciate that.
All right.
Blaine Hedberg, president here of the Westby Historical Society. And we're going to be off and running here in a few other places, Blaine. So
right.
hang in there the rest of the day.
All right, enjoy your day.
All right, thank you. All right, well, we are moving around. This is Mrs. Ruth Konert, and Ruth has some very unique things. Looks like we got a bunch of mushrooms and everything here. What in the world is this? What kind of forest do we have?
Yeah, so this is all my husband's artwork.
Ah.
He's the chainsaw carver here today.
Yeah.
He's recently done a whole slew of morel mushrooms. He has some that have wizard faces. We have a lot of cottonwood bark carvings. We have a little bit of everything. We have some gourds that are painted, some fungi or mushrooms that he's wood burned. So yeah, a lot of fun, whimsical things.
Yeah, yes. Now, do you get involved with the ideas and the carving itself?
Sometimes I do, unsolicited advice. Sometimes he listens and sometimes he doesn't. But no, usually it comes out of his mind. So he is very creative.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
So when did, we're going to go out and talk with him in a few moments. What did you think when he said, honey, I'm going to do some chainsaw stuff?
Well, I just go with it because, he's got an idea. He's got carpentry skills, so he had the chainsaws already.
Okay,
And
there you go.
so it was just natural to put the two and two together, the
Yes.
carpentry and the art.
Yeah.
So
How many years have you guys been traveling together with this?
a few years now. He's been doing it for probably I would say like 20 or 30 years. He's done
Really?
art shows.
Wow.
I've been helping him out for about the last 10. So
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. When you go to these shows, do you go in with the thought that you're going to sell a lot of the material, or is it just more of showing
No.
off the work?
No, you don't really do it for the money.
Yeah,
It's,
okay.
it's yeah. I mean, it's nice if you can sell a few pieces here and there.
Yeah, yeah.
You can only display so much in your home.
Yeah. Yep.
So, no, that's not like the main
Yeah,
priority.
yeah,
It's just it's fun to get together with all the other
Yeah,
artists
yeah,
and
yeah. I would think the joy of the imagination has got to be one of the front runners with this.
yeah, it's crazy to see
Yeah.
all the different things
Yeah.
that people come up with.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah.
really fun.
What's I've asked a couple of people, what's your favorite piece just right here that you have?
Oh my gosh, this is a new thing that we have here.
I was wondering what this was. This thing is so
it's
colorful.
not really. This is kind of a happy accident.
Oh, really?
So Keith was recently selected to have a piece in the Pump House in La Crosse.
Oh, yes.
And so
I
what
know the
he's-
play, yes.
I'm not sure if I should say it, but anyway, he did a piece and he painted it, and he was experimenting on this piece of wood, and this is so that's what it's painted like.
Wow.
And so I just think it's beautiful.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm drawn to that. But I
That's-
love them. I love the wizard faces as well. I think those are really cute.
They are. They absolutely are. They kind of jump out at you a little bit.
Yep. Yep.
Well, this is so neat, and thank you for coming down. Where are you guys located at?
Well, we have we're Stoddard address.
Yeah, okay.
So just south of La Crosse.
Yep.
And that's where we live.
Okay.
Right by the river.
I thought you were close by, but I wasn't
Yep,
100%.
not too far.
So, yes,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is so neat. So which association are you guys with then?
None.
None.
Just
You're on your own.
On our own. Yep. Yep.
Like that independence.
Yes, right. We're both working full time still, so
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
it's.
That'll
we'll
do
see.
it. That'll
Yeah,
do it right
yeah.
there. Yes, I hear you.
Very busy.
So, all right. Well, Ruth, thank you so much for taking the time out here.
Thank you.
Again, one of those impromptu things, but I tell you what, you just you slammed a home run on us there. That was great.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Thanks
Well,
a
we're
lot.
going to keep moving around.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right.
All right. Well, here we are with Carl McKeith, and Carl and I go way back. Carl used to teach at Arcadia and was the head wrestling coach, while I was here in Westby as the head wrestling coach. So, Carl, it was so great to see you coming across. I'm like, oh my God, it's somebody I know.
Yeah. Good to see you too.
Well, it was excellent. Yes, and we got a chance to catch up a little bit in that. We won't talk about the old timers tournament that you and I had to wrestle one time, right?
I think that was an overtime match.
That was
too.
an overtime. That was our secret. Okay, that's all we're going with, right? So, tell us a little bit about how you got started with some of these very neat items that you have here with woodworking.
Well, I guess I got started as an art teacher. We had a sculpture unit, and we decided to do some woodworking and carving, and I absolutely fell in love with it. So after I retired, I pretty much decided that's something I want to do every day.
Yeah.
So hardly a night goes by where I don't sit down and pick away at some of the carvings.
And you really haven't been doing this very long when we talked earlier.
Right, I think I started 7-8 years ago in the classroom, and then started, bringing it home. I retired 4 years ago.
Okay.
And like I said, it's pretty much every day since then I'm working on wood. Yeah.
That is remarkable. You're way too young to retire. So, but tell us a little bit about some of the things that you have here. They look like a lot of good playthings.
Yeah, that's what interested me the most, is when you look at something, you're immediately wondering, wait a minute, how is that made? So I was interested in the ball in a cage, and how that can be carved in there, and then the chains really interested me, how you can get chain links together.
Yeah.
And then spirals, and since then I've been working on balls, chains, and spirals and combinations of them, and putting things together.
This is really neat. That's got to be kind of a tough project with all these spirals and how in the world?
Well,
how'd you come up with that?
It takes a lot of planning. Sometimes I'm inspired by other carvers, people in my carving group in Eau Claire, and sometimes you see something on YouTube and you just figure out how to do it.
Wow.
But it's not as hard as you might think once you figure out how, and really what it takes is time and patience.
Yeah.
Well, I really do like the interlocking. And,
That's neat.
and chains. The thing that got me going in the last 6-8 months is a slide, where you have a ball in a cage, but then the cage also slides.
Yes,
And
yes.
then I incorporated some of my ideas with curved cages, and then curved cages plus chains, and so you can kind of do everything, all in one idea.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
kind of what I do, is I just progress from idea to idea.
Yeah.
And I
Build
can't go
on
a day
it.
without
That's-
working with it.
That's pretty neat. And we were talking a little bit about grandkids and everything. These are grandchildren proofed.
Pretty
right?
much, yep. If they really tried to break something, they maybe could. Some of them are a little more fragile, but,
Yeah.
but they've held on to these and played with them. But obviously, if you tried to break them, you could. Some of them you couldn't. Some of them are more solid.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, you're not going to break those.
Yeah. So what else have you done? Are you doing some of this stuff over here as well, or is
That's really why I joined my carving group in Eau Claire, because I knew what I like to do, but I wanted to learn more. And
Yeah.
a lot of them do their own and different style with
Okay.
chip carving, and you can see the 3D carving, embossing,
Yes.
and on the tables behind me are some group members that have been big inspirations to me. I went
Yeah.
to their classes and learned how to do chip carving, and then I've put on classes to show how to do balls and cages and spirals and things. So
I'll be darned.
it's a really nice sharing
Yeah,
group.
that's neat. That is really neat. Now, so since you've only been in this for 7 or 8 years, you probably got another 35, 40 years with this.
Absolutely. I'm just getting started.
There you go.
I sure do love it.
Yes. Well, this is excellent stuff, and it's so neat to see you over here. Glad you made it down here. Probably be back next year.
Absolutely. And if you get a chance, you can come to Eau Claire. We're having a Karve In September.
Oh, wow. Nice. Well, just, we got to keep me in mind with that stuff. Maybe we'll be able to do something.
Love
you never
to have
know.
you up there. That'd be good.
All right. Carl McKeith. Carl, thanks again so much. Great to see you once
You
again.
too.
All right. We'll keep moving around here. We've got Manny that we're going to take a chat with, and we're also going to go outside if the video keeps working. We got a chainsaw demonstration coming up as well. Here we are once again. This is Manny. Manny, if I remember now, I want to say Madison. Am I right?
You're correct.
Oh my goodness, I do have a memory. I wasn't sure. So, Manny, we had a chance to talk. We're actually live streaming right now.
Oh, yeah?
So maybe there's some fine folks back in Madison that are watching and take a look at some of your neat work that you've done here. And this is beautiful, beautiful stuff. Tell us a little bit about this, Manny.
Okay, this is what I refer to, Carvers refer to as old world style chip carving. There's a little bit of traditional chip carving that I blend in with it, but most of it is old world. I've been carving now for about maybe 20 years.
Wow.
I started carving like everybody else, got into birds, dogs, and the little thing. And I was having a problem with my painting. I would carve and it would look nice. I would paint it and throw it away. That's how bad my carving was. So my wife says to me, "Why don't you try a different type of carving? Because I just don't like it." So she says, "I've heard of some chip carving." She says, "Why don't you look into that?" So I did.
Yeah.
And this is the end result.
It is some wild pieces
a
here.
labor of love.
Yes, yes. Tell us a little bit about that piece right there. That looks so neat.
It's a breadboard, but people wouldn't use it as a breadboard because of the cuttings in it. But it can be displayed hung on the wall.
Yeah.
As a piece, and it's the different patterns that are on there.
Well, it's just there's it looks like about 6 or 7 there.
Yeah, there's different patterns,
Yeah.
and that's how I like to do things. I don't like to make everything the same. It doesn't seem to produce a good effect if everything on there is the same. And that's why you can see all my different patterns and all my products here are different. And I don't carve to sell. I just carve for the love of carving.
Yeah.
I give many things away to different clubs I belong to as prizes for raffles and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've got a family that I give things to. But
when you do these, are these how do I want to say, shellacked or stained or anything here?
Yes, they're stained. The way this is the color of the wood as it is presented. It's called basswood.
Oh yeah.
And there is butternut, it's also good carving wood, but butternut is such a pretty wood. I don't like to carve it because it's got so much nice grain to it.
Yeah.
And when if you carve chips into it, you don't really see the chips because you see the pattern of the wood.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I use this regular basswood. It comes in, and then I stain it. Got different color. I like this color the best. And some I make, like this one was a different color. When I did this one, I mixed a couple stains together.
Oh.
But I didn't write anything down. So now I do not have any idea of what I use to get that color. But it's a pretty color.
It's a Manny special.
It's a
That's
special,
what it is.
right.
That's all there is to it. So yes, this is great. So you got to tell us a little bit about this little piece right here. My goodness.
This piece, this is what is called tramp art. The hobos and tramps.
Really?
When they rode the rails, it had nothing to do. So at that stage, many years ago, they had the cigar boxes made out of wood.
Yeah.
And they would find these cigar boxes, cut different size woods, and stack them and notch them. And then they would give things as a gift. I made this one with bigger wood so that people can see how it was put together. Now, in today's environment, if you go out and you look in an antique store and you find a piece of tramp art,
Yeah.
you're looking at $1,000.
Yeah.
That stuff is expensive
Yeah.
because a lot of work was put in, and a lot of the stuff they made didn't serve any useful purpose other than being a gift.
Sure.
It was
sure.
a gift.
Yeah.
You could do anything with it.
Wow. This right here just shows me you have a great imagination and what you can come up with.
I try to.
I see it here anyways, but I mean, this is outstanding stuff, Manny.
Well, thank you very much, and it's always a pleasure to come back to this show.
Yes,
It-
yes.
we've been here since day one. Our group comes from
Is
Madison.
that, yep,
We've
yep.
been here since day one. We enjoy coming back, meeting our old friends,
Yeah.
our old carving buddies and
Yep,
stuff like that.
yep.
It's just such a wonderful day that we spend here.
Well, I will say this. It's always a pleasure being able to talk with you the last couple of years, and,
Wow.
and this year is no exception. This is just fantastic.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks again, Manny,
You're
here
very
from,
welcome.
from Madison. We're going to keep going on. I think we're going to go outside, Manny. We might get a little cold, but we're going to go watch the chainsaw, I think, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You make it chilly out there.
I think we will.
Well,
So, all right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here.
Appreciate
all right.
it. You bet.
Take care now. Keith Conert from the Stoddard area, and we're hoping that everything is working back inside. If not, we do have it taped here on the camera. But Keith, thanks for taking the moment out of your time here. You were really busy here with this. Can you see this, Mr. Michaels? This is going to be quite the project. Tell us a little bit more about this.
Well, this is a little garden or a troll that I got from when we were at North Skadal, and it was a little porcelain one. So I turned around and decided to make that just for the fact of the goofiness of it, because it's like he's going to be squatting down pointing at something and his eyes are going to be up looking like, I'm talking to you, what's this? So, but I just wanted, I can see something and sometimes I add different things to it. So as I go, it's going to start out like this here, and I was going to have it standing, but now it's going to be more squatting because I run out of room. So there's never a problem with getting something wrong. It always kind of add on to it. So.
Wow. Well, we were talking, we actually had a chance to talk with Ruth inside a little bit. She said, yeah, you got to get out there and take a gander at what you're doing here. You can do this in just about any weather. You got a tent. You're sitting in pretty good shape here.
Yeah, I was a carpenter for 27 years, so I did built houses, did cement work, and worked in conditions. As long as I'm moving, I'm plenty warm.
You're fine. Yes. So how many years have you been, when you started, how many years have you been doing things like this with
About
the
15
chainsaw?
years with the chainsaw. And
Okay.
the first thing I did was Marvin the Martian. I'm a big Looney Tunes fan,
Yep.
so I did Marvin the Martian, and I had it in the back of my truck coming down from Eau Claire to show my mom and dad the carving, and I had a little sign that says, "Where's the boom? Where's the earth-shattering boom?" I had people honking horn and waving and smiling and pointing back, so everybody, after that, it's like, yeah, this is something I enjoy doing. I love making smiles on people's faces and getting the excitement. So.
And then just having the couple here just moments ago talking about what do you do? Can you make this? And you know, that was really neat.
And I can take anything. I look at stuff and I can add, like I said, this one I did for the lady, it was 3 different things. It was a hat off. She wanted the old hillbilly Festus hat with the face of this goofy, smiley troll, but she wanted the body with bib overalls and everything. So it's like, yeah, I can put it all together. So.
Wow. If you think back, how many of these kinds of carvings, how long will it take to hammer this one out?
I'm thinking I should have it done here in about maybe 2 more hours, and that'll be all finished, painted, and done.
Wow.
So I'm to the point right now, I'm about halfway point with it. So
Really?
then I get the die grinder out with the bits and I kind of clean up everything and then
Yeah.
paint it, and
Yeah.
she should be
Yeah.
good. So.
Do you worry about smoothing things out, like super smooth, or
Not
you
really. There are some people that do that. It depends on if I'm going to do a realism of somebody, a person, then yeah, I would go full bore.
Oh.
Otherwise, this one here, it's rough.
Okay.
Because it's a troll, and it's going to
Yeah.
have kind of a cement speckle. He's going to be gray with a tan and white spackle to
Yeah.
him. So he's going to
Wow.
look kind of like a cement troll.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty neat. So where are you going from here? Do you have another show down the road?
Nope,
Do you-
I'm going to be retiring here in August, and then I'm going to be doing it full time
Doing
and setting up more shows.
Yeah.
So right now I have about 7 pieces that I'm doing that are on the list. I'm going to be doing 2 of them, possibly 3 for the International Garden in La Crosse.
Oh,
so
wow.
2 trolls, a male and female. Just got the approval on it, so that'll be the 2
Neat.
next carvings. And then the Sons of Norway, I think, are looking at putting a child troll. So that'll be
Okay.
So I'll be doing him later on down the road.
When Lori and I go walking, sometimes we live in La Crosse now. When we go out for a walk, and we're going to walk through there, and I'll be able to tell her, I know this guy.
By the water-
I know who made
It's
these.
going to be by the waterfall. The other ones, their ages of the weather is kind of taking a toll on
Yeah,
them. So, but
yeah.
I will be doing a male and a female. So.
Okay, I'm going to look forward to that. That's going to be great. So, well, Keith, thanks so much for taking the time out
You
here.
betcha.
Good luck doing this, and
Yep.
we're just going to have fun watching all these come around, speckled around the area.
Yep, I'm going to start making my mark.
There you go. All right, well, we're going to go back inside and finish things up here
Where it's warmer.
today, where it's a little warmer. There you go. Well, good luck. Keep going on this.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Well, yeah, we're back in where it's warm. My goodness, Steve, that was chilly outside.
A little bit chilly, and the wind did not help matters at all.
Not with that sawdust flying all over, but what a great interview with Keith and all these other folks here. You have done such a fantastic job of setting up what's coming up here, and I think this is going to grow, Steve. It's really going to grow.
I think so too. And
Yeah.
thanks for your kind words. You know, it's just important for everyone to know like how many people are involved in pulling this off. So
Yeah.
we have people from the Friends of the Library. We have the library board. We have there's a committee that meets all year on this.
Oh.
And so there's a lot of folks who have their hands in here. Too many to list off right now, but
Yeah.
it's a pleasure to be associated with these folks, and
Yep.
it makes it worthwhile when you see people coming together. Community, right? That's
Yeah,
what it's for.
yeah. The part that I always get a kick out of is the excitement with the folks as they talk about what they have their passion for, and the smile on their face is really something.
It is. You know, and whatever your passion is, you talk to an athlete and you hear that same passion.
Yeah.
Talk to a wood carver, well, you see that passion. It's
Yeah,
just exciting.
Yeah. How is it passion for us in administration? We work with people.
People, exactly. We try to help at people, so that's the passion.
I had to throw that in there.
You know, I tell you what, if I can age like you, I'll be super happy. So.
Well, thanks, I think. So, Steve, again, my sincere thank you for allowing us to come in and give it a try. We experimented this year, knock on wood, looks like it worked. Streaming, I'll have this on our YouTube channel sometime Sunday night. I'll try and give you a text or something, let you know that we're up and going with that.
Sounds great.
And we look forward to 2025.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for doing this. Willow, thank you for helping out back there.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
So, all right. Well, you have a great rest of the year.
You too.
Thank you so much.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you back here in the Westby High School School District, the high school gymnasium, back in 2025 for that version of Karve In.